Okay, so we're chapter 20, Western Europe during the High Middle Ages, and then we are on the third heading, which is European Christianity during the High Middle Ages, and we are on the third subheading, which is Reform Movement and Popular Heresies. I'm about to say some people who are going to have major complaints against the Catholic Church. Just as always, I'm never trying to convert you to a point of view, but educated people know different points of view. Even if they don't believe them, you need to be able to restate what they were. And so that's all. I'm just doing what the College Board wants me in general to teach you. Your religion or lack of religion has absolutely no bearing on your grade in my class or your score on that test. That being said, religious movements. Rebellion against the perceived materialism of the Roman Catholic Church is going to happen during this time, towards the end of this time period, because the Roman Catholic Church is getting much more powerful and is getting much richer, and so that is not only happening, bubbling up to the Pope and in the Vatican, but is also happening in monasteries across Europe. So as the Pope is gaining popularity and power, so is his money. That's going to be a problem for some people because if you've read the Bible. And again, there's different arguments that can be made about wealth. But there are several Bible verses which are against materialism, which are against greed. In general, money is seen as a tool, could be used for good or for evil. But what's going to happen is there's some priests who are going to rise up, specifically Dominic and St. Francis, who are going to create these orders of mendicants. Mendicant means a beggar. And so these Dominican and Franciscan monks are going to go and preach against this materialism. They're going to be very popular because they're going to live what they're saying. They're going to take vows of poverty. They're going to have no material possessions. They are going to rely on the crowds that they preach to take care of their basic needs. They also are going to help groups that necessarily aren't being helped by the Catholic Church. So again, they're living what they're saying, which in general makes any religion popular when they do that, and there's not as much hypocrisy. The thing that's going to happen as well is that although they're very popular, they're going to be religious zealots. What's a zealot? A zealot believes that they have it absolutely right, and anybody who against them has it wrong. So they're going to be very opposed to heretical movements, such as some popular heresies, which are going to happen. So again, these both are going to originate kind of like in southern France and northern Italy. The first one is the Waldensians, and the Waldensians are going to be really wanting there to be more. We're going to have issues with the materialism that was being displayed by the Catholic Church at the time. They're also going to advocate for more lay control of preaching and sacraments. The belief that you don't have to be a priest to give a sermon. You do not have to be a priest to administer the sacraments. And so there's still some Waldensians today, although it is a relatively small faction of the Catholic of people who are Christians and Catholics. The other thing that's going to happen is that we're going to have another group, which is even more extreme, called the Cathars or the Albiegnesians. Okay, Albiegnesians. I'm going to go with that. That's probably mispronounced. My apologies. So Cathars are going to be a more extreme religious movement. That southern France, northern Italy is actually kind of a rich place. And what's going to end up happening is the people inspired by the Cathars are going to be inspired by some of these things that they're learning from other groups in the Mediterranean basin and from the Byzantine Empire. And so their version of Christianity is really going to be fused with this idea of this life is an unending cosmic struggle between good and evil. And the evil is anybody who practices materialism. And so they are the opposite of that. So they're going to believe in like chastity and not getting married. They're going to believe in vegetarianism. They're going to believe in poverty. And they are going to be incredibly outspoken on how they believe the Catholic Church is a hopelessly corrupt organization because of the power they're going to start to gain. And they're going to be seen as a direct threat to the Catholic Church because, well, in some ways they are. They're directly preaching against them. They're Christian, but preaching against them. Pope Innocent III is basically going to destroy the Cathar movement in the 13th century. Again, basically trying to get rid of them at all costs. And by the 15th century, that movement will basically have disappeared. And that is the third subheading of the third heading of chapter 20.